SoFi Stadium. What a win for the Washington Commanders. You see head coach Dan Quinn hugging on Bob Myers right there, Adam Peters. This is Beltway Football. I'm JP Finlay. He's Mitch Tischler. The season was in flux, legitimately. They're down 10-0. Quan Martin makes absolutely the most important play of the season, forces a fumble, and after that, everything changed. After that, Washington's offense finally got clicking. The defense was really impressive. Absolutely, I don't want to say season-saving, but season-altering play by Quan Martin.
Oh, I thought we were getting off to a slow start. No?
Oh, Mitch got bits.
I got bits. I hope the rest of our podcast is as good as the last three quarters were of this game.
How long you been thinking about that?
I came up with it when I was running around trying to get on the field.
Yeah.
But, listen, the last three quarters of that game were incredible. You saw this defense turn it around. They got the turnovers. They got to Justin Herbert the way that they needed to. Dorrance Armstrong has 5 sacks on the season. He had 2 today. He had 5 all of last year. Von Miller got 2 today. It was a very good performance from this defense after that slow start.
Sure. I thought, Amarian Hampton never really got going in the run game. He was a threat as a pass receiver. The Chargers also did everything they could to barf on their shoes. I mean, the fumble that Quan forces, then it was right in this end zone, I believe. They rough tress on a punt that Ladd McConkey returns for a touchdown, right. And it was the right call. Like, Chargers fans aren't complaining about the call. It was egregious what they did to our guy Tress, America's punter, the people's punter, and they just wiped points off the board. You know?
And you also had the turnover right here behind us in the end zone.
They were still at the goal line.
It was the same play over and over and over again that the Chargers were running. That little hook into the zone with Keenan Allen.
Herbert was really good.
Herbert is a really good quarterback.
He's got a rocket.
That fourth down pass, though, he used every ounce of that rocket arm and just threw it off his tight end's face mask. But they finally made an adjustment, and we can talk about the last 3 quarters being good, but we got to start with the first quarter. Guys were running open over the field. You saw Quan Martin and Marshawn Lattimore run into each other for a wide open play. They hit a couple big plays early, but then Joe Witt, Dan Quinn, the group got together, figured it out, and the Chargers didn't do much the rest of the game.
The Chargers were moving the ball pretty well in the second half at various spots. I don't know that they figured a lot out. Like, the soft zone stuff was just easy pickings for Herbert throughout this thing. I think you got to – to me, you start with the guts Washington showed. Sammer still has a terrible, terrible mental error to jump off sides on a field goal in the red zone, gives them a first down. They score on that. Just kind of the resilience for Sammer still to then come back and make the play at the goal line, grab the pick. And you can't say enough about Bill and Jayden in this game.
Right.
Bill is a guy we've been really excited about since training camp. He looked excellent. He really hasn't gotten the opportunity. He did today. He took advantage, although he did have that fumble where Ben Sinnott just got blown up at the line.
Yeah.
Bill didn't have much of a chance on the play. Bill was fantastic. And Jayden, dude, the guts he showed, that you could see the big brace. You could see his mobility was somewhat limited. I thought Jayden did a great job of protecting himself in this thing. We saw some real slides from him.
Yeah.
And Jayden with his arm and just the emotional lift he gives this team, and you know what it meant to him. I talked to his mom before the game. They had a lot of people here, and he's been open about it, what it means to come back to California. And a lot of these guys, dude. AP played at UCLA. Wagner. There's a ton of guys.
West Coast guys.
SoCal connections that this means a lot for. There were a ton of Burgundy Gold fans here. A ton. We had a lot of friends here.
Yeah. Shout out to Boy Genius wearing the Mitch Pete or JP Mitch Pete and Momentum shirt.
I tried to find Boy Genius. I was unable.
That was peak JP Finlay in an NFL stadium. We were one level above you where you were, and you just couldn't quite figure it out.
Couldn't quite figure that
one out. Listen, Jayden and Bill were both great. However, early on in that game, Jayden wasn't great. He threw the ball high a couple times. You had the pass that he threw on third down at his own goal line to Zach Ertz that he threw straight through Ertz's hands. There were some real issues there, but the guys were excited to get Jayden back. We heard it in the locker room. You could see it on the field. He talked about how hyped the guys were at practice this week. Let's hear from some of the guys talking about Jayden Daniels' return.
I was going to read some comments.
We're going to get to comments after,
I guess.
First game back after a couple of weeks off, and to be in my hometown, you can't write up a better story. Just focused in on the little things. We ran the ball really well. O-line gave me some time to make some throws, and guys stepped up and made some big plays. Quarters, cover 4, safety was squatting, and you got to trust my guys to make a play, and they did it.
got a guy like Bill having a day like that, your whole offense really, and you come out of this after a little bit of funk last week. You go into next week thinking what?
Just build on it. I mean, it's nothing really more. Just got to hone in on the little things week in and week out, because every week's a new week. So we can use the momentum, but at the end of the day, we still got to focus on the little things.
You had to wait 3 weeks to play.
Yeah.
To finally get back out there. Really?
Feel great. Happy we got the win.
Starting slow, I thought he really showed a lot of poise. I thought he really ripped the ball well. One to Debo in specific, I thought. One ripped inside to Zach to go. But the best play, I thought, was the one deep ball on the seam post to Luke. That was a big play to go. But I thought he made good decisions tonight, John. There was some times where we threw the ball away or got down, and that was something that we had talked about and worked on. So those are plays that won't necessarily show up on the stat sheet, but to me and to him, knowing that that's a big deal for us to play at our best.
I mean, you got to be super impressed by Jayden Daniels in this game.
You talk about the interception was kind of a turning point. I also think that long pass to Luke McCaffrey right at the end of the first half.
Totally.
To get that.
Steal points. DQ was finally aggressive with his timeouts again. We hadn't seen that.
Right.
This was the team we expected, right? They weren't scared of an early deficit. They played, opportunistic football, able to generate the turnovers. And the offense, once they were able to get in rhythm, sustain first downs, sustain drives, get that up-tempo going, you saw this offense look like it's supposed to.
Yeah.
And dude, you didn't have Terry.
Right. Well, that's where I was going to. You tweeted it, and it was ping-ponging around the press box. Chris Moore dropped, didn't catch it.
It was a
tough
play,
catch, but he didn't make the play right here in the corner of the end zone. And you tweeted out, you're like, 17 would have made that catch.
Yeah.
And I think we all know that Terry would have. Right. And, there are a couple – you see where this offense is missing Terry, but at the same time, you got to give Jayden so much credit for what Debo and this group has done.
I thought Cliff called a good game. They let Bill – they really finally gave him the opportunity that I think he's needed. Got some comments coming in. A lot of fans want to know about the crowd here. I think it was at least 50-50.
Yeah.
There was a lot of burgundy and gold. On the Luke catch, it was like, Luke!
Right.
And after all the sacks, there was a ton of cheers.
Jalen Lane said it in the locker room. He's like, I asked him about the catch, and he's like, all you heard in the entire stadium was Luke, which was cool.
Marshawn Lattimore actually commented on seeing all the fans this far away. James Lord pointed out that Johnny Newton tipped the pass on the Samerstill pick. Great play by Johnny.
Yeah.
Trevor Borger, that forced fumble.
Borger.
Boerger.
I trust you. I think it's right.
Borger?
Yeah.
I don't know. I hope I got it right.
Sorry, bud.
Forced fumble could be a season starting play, totally.
Yeah.
That changed. And Von Miller told a really cool story in the locker room that Quan Martin had an excellent week of practice, and on Thursday's practice, which is kind of their longest, most intense, he had 3 picks in the session, and they kind of thought that Quan was due to make a play today. Sure enough, he did.
Yeah.
I thought Martin was excellent. I think offensively, when they get into a rhythm and then they're able to go to their up-tempo, it makes such a huge difference.
When they're able to keep getting first downs, they're able to run the ball.
Right.
And we've gotten this far in the program, and I haven't even mentioned the offensive line yet.
They were great.
Let's talk about Tyler Biadasz.
Yeah.
Last week was maybe his worst game as a Commander between the low snaps and some interior pressure troubles. We saw this Chargers interior D-line get after the Giants last week, and they had 8 sacks, I think, in that game, 6 sacks in that game. It was impressive. And today, Biadasz and that group were great. And, for Biadasz, that first touchdown run from Bill, Biadasz pulls around the outside, he clips off the edge, and then he gets to the second level and just clears a path for Bill to get in the end zone.
He had another second level block on a little pass play that might have been to Bill also in the second half. I want to let you hear from the offensive players just about their performance on the field, but I thought Debo was so impressive today too.
He was. He's such a tough player. He does a good job of reading where to sit down in zones, and we see that. And that's kind of the mental aspect of it. But then the physical side of it. You see those quick wide receiver passes. He catches it, and he makes those DBs pay every time they want to tackle him.
Pete Beat reporting. Shout out to Pete Haley. Just celebrated his 31st birthday. Reggie Miller year. Debo changed his shoes at the end of the third quarter. Said he just wanted some fresh ones. Why don't we let you guys hear from the players?
You know, we knew it was going to be, you know, kind of a dogfight, and, you know, they came out hot. And, you know, we just had to withstand that first blow. And then, you know, once we started making plays and got it going, that's when, you know, the running game started picking up, pass game started picking up, and we started making plays.
Another guy from your rookie class, what'd you think of Bill's performance?
First 100-yard game, first of many coming for him. You know, I'm proud of him. You know, he put in a lot of work, and, you know, it just shows a testament to his hard work.
To have 5 back in the huddle means what?
Means a lot. I mean, shoot, like you saw what he did today. Man, like what he can do. It's truly special, and that's the biggest importance. We got to be a cleaner pocket for him, and you know, we got to eliminate the pressures for sure.
On that first Bill touchdown run for you to get around the edge and get to the second level like that, how good does that feel to be able to pick off a couple?
No, it was great because I felt his presence and how the DBs responded to outside the pole when Chris had a nice kick out and I went around it. I had a sense he was right behind me too, and I knew there was no one left after that. So, but yeah, it's a special feeling for sure. And you know, when we get 6, those are big opportunities, man.
I can make plays when my name is called. Obviously, I got a lot of work to do. Got a lot of work to do. But I mean, I feel like it's just the beginning. I still feel like I got a lot more I want to show.
This slow start was similar to some of the other road games. What changed for you guys to bring to some offense?
We know that wasn't our offense. We know we had to pick things up. We like to move fast, put points on the board. So we just know like that wasn't our offense, and something needed to be changed.
Did you have a feeling this was going to be a game where you were getting a lot of the workload today?
I mean, not really. I just go out there and practice and do my job, and whatever come my way, I'm willing to do it for my team.
Such a humble attitude for Bill. Yeah. It was cool. It was kind of a quiet moment in the locker room at the end. It was only Debo still left, and Bill was there, and he was looking at his phone. I was like, I bet your phone's going nuts. He's like, man, it's crazy. I think he's getting a lot of texts and tweets and whatever else. I know you were impressed by the play calling.
Yeah, with Bill, real quick, you talked about the humbleness. What I loved from him, he left the podium room, walked into the locker room, walked down the row of offensive linemen on that side of the locker room, dapped up each guy, said thank you. It was really cool to see that kid. But you talked about the play when Biotish got downfield to block on the Bill pass, and that's the aspect of the Cliff Kingsbury offense that I love the most, and that's why the athleticism of this offensive line matters.
That's why he wanted Connerly.
Right. They love the timing plays where they can the O linemen don't have to block like it's a screen pass, but they block for a second and then get downfield. And when you have receivers who are able to hit their spots and get there in time, and the offense is in rhythm and in sync, it's impressive to watch, and they get those guys extra yards by those O-linemen getting downfield.
For sure, and just a true team win. You're down 10-0, you go 27 unanswered. You know, the Chargers helped them a little bit. I imagine Harbaugh was furious with his team. But we mentioned earlier the Vaughn and Quan show. I want to let those guys kind of tell the story, because it was a really cool moment, and we're all talking about it. We're getting the comments on the YouTube that, you know, Quan's forced fumble recovery, forced fumble altered the season in a positive way. Saving the season is silly, but
we looked at each other. It was down 10-0, and we looked at each other in the press box, and we were like,
well, and they were driving.
Right,
they
were like,
moving
oh
the
boy,
ball.
This thing could get bad quick.
Let's let Vaughn and Quan explain things.
Talk about momentum. Don't know where the play gonna come from. Somebody just got to change the game, and you know, I had the opportunity to make a play, and I did, and I think we just rode off that momentum for the whole game.
Vaughn just said your practice on Thursday was kind of ridiculous with the interception, so you practiced like you played. Did you feel that coming in that something's going to happen?
Yeah, man. I think, you know, when you have a practice like that, you just feel good about the ball, feel good about the opportunities you're going to have. And, you know, however it comes, you just got to make a play, and that's what I did.
He had 3 turnovers in practice, and I know, you know, our coach is going to be proud of that. You know, you practice how you play how you practice. And he came out today, had 2 turnovers. One really changed the tide for us with that fumble recovery. Forced fumble recovery, and another one right there on the goal line where they're getting ready to go score. So, good team win, man. I know guys going to be proud of that. Make the play and do backflips on the way home.
You know, from being down and just, you know, knowing we never out the game. You know, we got all the players that we have. You know, we have great players, and, you know, we just showed it out there today. You know, we can get the job done.
Winning the time of possession is something that is important, and we do that really well. And so, yeah.
How huge to come on the road against a really, really good team and kind of just shut them down. 27 unanswered points, and the defense kind of stood up everywhere.
That's just, you know, we played our game. You know, we came and we accomplished everything we wanted to. And as long as we're consistent, we're going to be all right.
Came out in the first quarter. They had about 130 yards in the first quarter. What'd you guys do to turn that around?
You know, we just believed in us, lean on each other. Yeah, we just lean on each other, try to make plays, just keep on trusting the process.
To get those 2 turnovers, is it just some kind of a matter of time before those balls start jumping in your direction?
Yeah, you just never know. So when you play fast, making turnovers, you know, defense wins. You know, just help the offense a little bit more better.
I think that's just the life of a defensive back. Whatever happens, like you could give up a catch, you could miss a tackle, like whatever. Like it's always the next play mentality. I was never even after that play happened early on. I didn't think about it again until you just asked me. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah.
So like, what did you read on that play?
Well, so we were in one of our calls. I was in my zone, just playing off of Herbert's eyes, just seeing where he was, and I honestly, without the tip or not, I think he was going to throw it right to me just based off of where he was looking. We made a check that put me in the right spot, and I knew I had help over top from Bobby. I had Quan behind me, and then we had Trey in the flat. So everybody was where we were supposed to be. We're communicating, and, you know, tips and overthrows, got to get those. Johnny made a good play. He tipped it, and I was where I was supposed to be, was able to come up with an interception.
Samerstill's obviously a guy that's just not scared of the moment.
No.
You know what I mean? He's shown that as a rookie. He's shown that throughout his career. Defensively, we'll get to it eventually, didn't really get crushed in the pass game. I think they played a lot more too high because they have been getting crushed, and I think that's why a lot of the soft underneath stuff was there when LA was able to go on some of those drives. Quan
did a really good job of staying over top of a couple of those play action passes. That was impressive. And for Mikey, he didn't practice on Wednesday or Thursday.
Yeah.
We saw him coming off the field. Looked to be limping a little bit.
Yeah,
that
he was walking pretty gingerly here.
He's a
but
fighter.
on Friday, I saw him practice at the Coliseum, and he looked
right.
great. Like he and Debo, and then you saw it today. But totally, I agree with the Samerstill is just he's the kind of guy you want in your program.
Oh, no question.
Shout out to our guy Jarlath Eaton. He said, "I'm staying up till 1:40 a.m. to watch the postgame pod in the UK. JP and the big man, what a win! Turnovers change games.
Love
Absolutely. Well, and dude, not only do turnovers change games. Shout out to Jarlath.
Yeah, for staying up.
Yeah.
It's a wild world out here with the NFL game in London this morning. The NFL started at 6:30 a.m.
Right.
It was crazy.
Well, dude, if you think about turnovers change games, like that could cut either way.
Right.
Because Quan's able to force that fumble, and that changes everything for Washington. But then Bill has the fumble, and Washington was able to kind of not let it turn everything around.
The other big play.
And that was the Mikey pick.
The other big play for Mikey had the pick, but 3 or 4 plays before that on a 2nd and long, Herbert hit Keenan Allen right over here on the sideline, and Keenan almost toe tapped, and Mikey hit him and got him out of bounds, got him to a 3rd down, and it was a big play to turn it around. Obviously, they still got down to the goal line, but you saw Mikey all over the field today. He hasn't had the best start of the season, but we saw him play much, much better today.
There was also a moment where apparently Bobby Wagner, I don't think cameras caught this, but Bobby Wagner was like mad on the sideline, probably the 2nd quarter. And then apparently Dan Quinn gave a pretty impassioned speech at halftime, and Jayden stood up and said something. So I think these guys really challenged one another to be at their best in this game. I think you saw it.
In the game, Bobby gathered the defense around on the sideline and was talking to him. And when we were inside talking to Dorrance Armstrong, we're like, hey, like, what does it mean when you have a guy like that? And Dorrance kind of jokes. He's like, man, I didn't even see that happen.
Yeah,
he's like, but that's the kind of guy that Bobby is, you know.
Behind the curtain for a moment.
Yeah.
Do we have sponsor stuff we need to talk about?
We certainly do.
Yeah. MGM?
Yeah.
MGM National Harbor is a place we love. You will too. Go gamble. Get rich.
I hope you all were
How's that for a plug?
I hope guys all were at Tap Sports Bar today. Those of you that couldn't make it out to LA, and there were a lot of them here.
I bet that vibe was awesome when this thing started turning around. Dude, you know, everybody had Bill anytime touchdown bets and probably Jayden pass yards bets. I mean, I bet that joint was humming.
And it worked out perfectly for you because you have Bill in one league, fantasy football league.
Shout out to Gio who benched Bill.
And Gio Delta from NBC4 in their work league benched him.
And his name in that league is Should I Start Bill? And he didn't. So shout out to you, Gio.
What a mistake.
Do you want to? I have a ton of notes.
Yeah, let's run through some notes.
Okay. I had one other comment I wanted to hit up.
Please.
Mike Q. I think we got to pump the brakes a little here, Mike Q. Mike Q says, excuse me, I haven't seen a guy with vision and movement like that Bill showed since Clinton Portis.
I'd argue Alfred Morris did that first year, when he was here.
Vision,
Alfred had
maybe, but he
Alfred
didn't have the quicks, I would
He
say.
doesn't have quite the speed maybe that Bill has, but he was really good at reading the O-line and finding holes and putting a foot in the ground and getting upfield.
That Shanny system, though, not to take anything away from Alf, but that Shanny run system, like
the set up for him.
And you had Robert, like that was, Bill's got Jayden, which maybe
helps a lot.
Alf's probably a fair.
Yeah.
I have a ton of notes. You want to run through notes?
Yeah, let's run through some notes.
I tried to
write them down so you had them.
I emailed them to myself, so I don't have to look at the computer.
I always put them in my email too, but
tackling was bad again, especially early.
But it got better. Like, that's the thing.
It did get better, but
the whole team started so slow, and it just got better as we went.
But still, it was bad. Like if you tackle poorly for half a game, that's bad tackling.
The Frankie Louvu missed tackle on the Marion Hampton little swing pass was a tough look. Do they have to get in pads more? Like that's a tough thing to fix mid-season
in October.
Right.
Some of this we've talked about. The Quan was just such a huge play.
Yeah.
I was really impressed by Jayden today.
Yeah.
He had a really good slide in the second quarter.
He slid, and I thought about all of our bets last year and the 100 chips and whatnot.
Somewhere Sam Fortier was watching that game.
Right.
Tracking the slides. I thought Payne and Wagner, there was a screen play when it was I think the Chargers were trying to maybe get some 2-minute going. It was like 2.5, and then you saw DQ call the time. Wagner had really good pressure. Payne makes the tackle in the backfield, and then you saw Washington be aggressive with their timeouts again, which I was refreshed by. Like they were so good at stealing points before the half last year. Did it again.
We've talked a lot about Jayden. In the fourth quarter, he had that scramble kind of right near the end of the game. That got him over 1,000 yards rushing in his career. He's the fastest quarterback in NFL history to get to 4,000 yards passing and 1,000 yards rushing.
It's pretty dope.
Nice little note there.
On the first drive of the third quarter, Bill comes out and makes consecutive first down plays. One was like a run for 8 yards. Then he caught that little screen pass, which was just Bill and McNichols had incredible individual efforts in the pass game.
Yeah.
But dude,
it drove me. Bill down the sideline. Run? Yeah, that was a really nice one.
Really bothered me, dude. Washington's getting an up-tempo, and it's working, and LA can't stop it. And replay assistant on the Jalen Lane catch that they ruled a first down, then they stop it, and like replay assistant says it's not a first down, so it's a second and inches. Like there needs to be, in soccer or whatever, like when they don't call the foul because the team, I think they call it the advantage. Like if there's a foul but a dude has a breakaway, I think they do that in hockey too. Like they wait on it.
But how can you can't do that in football? Like,
they're running up tempo. Don't stop them.
They should.
From New York.
Right, but then the Commanders would have been running a first down play when it was really third down.
Yeah,
and how do you go? You can't rewind.
It was first.
Yeah, it would have been second down. But how do you rewind back?
To me, it's one thing if New York stops it when the clock is stopped, but when you're in live action,
I guess I'd rather them get the spots right because it's gonna. Just like with turnovers, it's gonna go both ways. It's gonna help them and hurt them. But that definitely was a momentum killer. And I also loved how intense Jayden got with the delay of game, and then the second play after the first play after the delay of game, they ran it down to .0001 on the play clock before they got the ball off. And you just saw how animated Jayden was, and it takes me back to that training camp practice. When a player got kicked out of
player that dropped a touchdown.
We'll just say a player got kicked out of the huddle for not knowing what he was supposed to be doing. You like seeing those moments with a young quarterback where he takes command and he really shows you the leader that he is.
That's about my notes. We kind of hit on most of the things.
Let's get to game balls.
I wanted to do some shout outs before we get to game balls.
Please.
Shout out to Wendy and David Laub.
Yep.
There's no way they'll ever see this or hear this.
Nope.
But they were great.
Hopefully a friend of a friend of a friend.
Yeah. Shout out to John and Chris at Stipasevic and Mr. Cashman. Shout out to Montecito Golf Club.
Yep.
That place is Banana Land. It's fantastic. Shout out to Max and Eric for an awesome dinner at Craig's. I met the big man at a bar. And shout out to Gin Rummy in Venice.
Yeah. Oh, that's the name of it.
That's a scene, dog.
That back room there. That's
a
club.
We're officially the old dudes at the club. But man, LA flexed this weekend. Shout out to LA.
It was a lot of fun. I had a great time down in Orange County. My brother and my nephew came to his first NFL game today. It was great to see him out there.
I got to see my boys Bernie and Anthony. Always good to see Anthony doing great. All right, that was shout outs.
Yeah, let's
shout outs brought to you by Greg Abernathy.
Yeah. Game Balls and Goats brought to you by Oarsman Automotive of Virginia.
Let's do it.
We ride with them.
Sure do.
You should too.
I have a Toyota 4Runner waiting for me at Dulles Airport.
That's fantastic. How about the car I was driving this weekend?
That was something.
That was fun.
That was something.
That was
Put
a
the
lot
big
of
man
fun.
behind a Beamer. Woo! That joint moves. Big man, heavy foot.
Speed limits are just a suggestion.
Game balls, I have a bunch. I think Vaughn and Dorrance Armstrong.
Yeah.
For sure.
Quan Martin.
Absolutely.
Sanders still.
Yeah, absolutely. Jayden.
On the offensive side, Jayden, Bill.
Debo. Yeah.
The O-line, but particularly
Biotish, I have
Biotish.
highlighted.
Yeah, I mean, that was a really good game. Luke had not just the big catch, but he also was blocking downfield a bunch. What I loved
How about when Jayden ran down to try to help Bill on that run? He kind of started to engage and then stopped. I just can only imagine the coach is like, get out of there.
Right.
Do not engage.
We all saw it and we're like, oh no, what are we doing?
I love the idea. I love the willingness, but no, dude, don't do that.
It's also a heat of the moment thing, right? Like,
yeah, dude.
It's one of those things where like
look at that
guy
catch,
wants
dude,
to...
from All Pro Reels. What a picture.
Rob and Joe from All Pro Reels.
Shout out to them.
Best. Look at these pictures that these guys.
So Luke,
got
it
from
was
the
cool.
game.
I saw him in his locker, and somebody must have sent him those because he was like, man, those are crazy.
Yeah, I mean, that catch was crazy. That was a good throw by Jayden, but a great throw by Jayden would have been a touchdown.
It was a pretty damn good throw.
It was, but Luke was kind of coming across and had beaten the corner there, and had Jayden laid it out in front of him, outside the corner, he could have caught it and run a little bit. But it doesn't matter. It was a 50-yard pass.
50-yarder that
I mean
let them get the field goal before halftime. I mean, it was a lot.
And for all the explosives talk this week and last week and 2 weeks ago about this defense giving it up, it was great to see the Commanders' offense get some of those and turn the tide.
Not a lot of goats. Sammer still for the penalty. He made up for it with the pick.
Right.
But you cannot have that penalty.
Has anyone ever gotten both a game ball and a goat in the same?
I'm just kind of mentioning it.
Yeah.
He atoned. He atoned for his sins.
We just had Yom Kippur where we atoned for our sins.
It's the Day of Atonement.
Mikey Sanders still.
L'chaim. Chris Moore drop. It's not a drop because it's a really tough play, but you got to make those plays.
Tay Martin, first NFL catch.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's a game ball, but hat tip to him.
The replay assisted stoppage drove me crazy. I wrote that down. The Bill fumble.
Yeah.
Can't put the ball on the ground, young man. Senate got blown up on that play.
Senate is
Standig had a funny tweet. He was like, it looks like Senate just jumped in a bumper car because it was like bing bong.
It was like Jeremy McNichols when he tried to block Micah Parsons, like a fly on a rhino's behind.
I have one other at least can cake, maybe a goat.
Hit it.
You.
Oh yeah.
Mitch legitimately wrung my neck, and we were at Gin Rummy and things were happening, and the big man was in a celebratory mood.
We were enjoying ourselves.
I know. I did nothing to warrant.
No, this is true. This was unwarranted.
And Mitch just reached over and choked me, and in the moment it hurt, and I was like, and whatever. We had a couple, and I went to bed, and I woke up this morning. And it was like, God damn it, Mitch.
JP walked into the press box today, and he's like, my neck still hurts. And I was like, from what?
I don't think you had any idea.
I did. No, I definitely
Once I reminded you.
Yes, once you reminded me. And I felt a little bad about it, but
the Republic will stand.
For a lifetime of the kidney punches that you've been giving out.
I haven't kidney punched you in a decade.
You haven't kidney punched me in a decade because I almost put you in a fire pit last time you did.
There just wasn't a fire.
Right.
All right, you want to do the stuff?
Let's get to the stuff. Brought to you by Tap Sports Bar, MGM National Harbor.
There you go.
All those different things. We already talked about the place. Great chicken nuggets, good wings, awesome nachos.
Tater tots, dog.
Tater tots.
Yo, I said this last time. The most underrated thing at Tap that blew me away. Bees ordered them. I was like, it's not really my thing. The catfish fingers. That is unbelievable.
I would not have guessed that.
They're banging. Get the catfish.
Doesn't your boy Jeff go fishing for catfish all the time on the Potomac?
Dude, Jeff just killed a deer. Jeff posted a photo. Yeah, he's been going hunting.
We were talking with Wendy.
Wendy. David goes elk hunting.
People
are hunting out here.
He's on a horseback with a scabber and the whole 9 yards. It's like the Oregon Trail.
Dude, it sounded like it. You get up to Santa Barbara area, it's different. It's nice.
It's a lovely part of the country.
I'd say of the world.
The world too. Let's start with 100 chips. Let's start with 100 chips.
Okay.
I had my 100 on the over and Luke McCaffrey over receiving yards. He got over his receiving yards. Unfortunately, the game went under, so I lose by 100, which was unfortunate. JP split up his 100 chips 2 different ways, $50 a pop or 50 chips a pop. And
Zach Ertz
over 4.5 receptions. He had 1 target, and then you had Marion Hampton over 25.5 receiving yards. He got 226.
Wow,
which is just enough to get
skin
the
of
dub.
my chinny chin chin.
So JP stays at -20. I dropped to -500 on the year.
Damn.
I'm gonna have to start throwing in some touchdown, anytime
Anytime
touchdowns, some
TDs.
crazy stuff to catch up there. So
It's kind of crazy that at -20, I have a pretty big lead.
you shouldn't feel good about the lead,
Right.
but a lead is a lead.
I also think we could not have the juice and make these a little simpler, but whatever. It's real gambling with
Listen,
fake money.
As long as Mark is
Yeah.
Mark Perina
Shout out
us
to
up.
another
yeah.
shout out to Mark Perina, the pizza legend.
Yep, of Buffalo. We can get to over-unders.
Sure.
Starting off, we had Jayden Daniels over-under passing yards at 213.5.
He cleared that.
He cleared it.
Yep.
Got to 224, I believe, is the total. We had I was over. You were under.
Under.
So I hit that one. We had Bill, 29.5 rushing yards.
Wow.
Both of us went over. First 100-yard game of his career. Pretty great. And then the third one was the explosive plays. 3.5 was the over-under number. I went over. You went under. The Chargers had two explosives. They had the long pass to Keenan Allen, and you had the 40-yard
big
run
Herbert
from
run.
Justin Herbert.
Yeah.
But there were the two plays
on second
over
and
here,
25,
second
and
and
then
25
second
that
and 30.
they completed both of them.
Yeah.
And then there were penalties, and then they just gave up and ran the ball.
Yeah, the avoid disaster playbook.
Yep. So
a
we
tie?
split. We tied. You're still up 2.5 to 0.
2.5 to 0 through 5.
Through 5.
Okay.
I'm a slow starter, just like the Commanders. Lastly, we have our veggie bet. I was 27-23. You were 25-24. Do I get $50 for 27?
Nope.
Okay.
You've established the no $50 policy.
I am very much aware of that.
Okay.
However, I just wanted to point out that I
I'm
would
just
have
saying,
had $50.
You would be $50 richer
We
if you didn't
would have
abolish.
broke even this year.
No, because I hit it twice last year.
Oh well, yeah. So you got $0.
$0.
$0.
All right, are we done?
I
Is
think
that
we're
it?
done. Yeah.
Shout out to the fans. It was just a really cool experience. Yo, let's do this. So a lot of people have been asking, now that we know RFK is getting built.
Yeah. Greg, let's take a wide shot of the stadium.
Atlanta, I think, is a better example
Minneapolis later in the year will be a good example, too.
So the difference here, I don't know, Abs, if you could show, like, out there past the SoFi Stadium, like, it's outdoors. Like, there aren't walls to this building. You don't walk through a door to get into SoFi, which is really incredible. Like, you're simultaneously inside and outside, but you can't do that at home. You can only do that in Southern California because you got temperate weather year-round. Nobody wants to be indoors and outdoors in D.C. in February.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, like,
I'll also
SoFi's
say-
incredible. It's so dope, but, like, we can't build this at home. Now, I think you do the translucent roof. I think there's a lot you can do similarly, but you're not going to have the same truly indoor-outdoor. Atlanta and Minnesota, you feel like you're outside because there's so much glass.
Right.
So I think those are your kind of your models for what you're looking for.
I'd
is
also
Atlanta,
say
Minnesota.
SoFi is cavernous. As you guys saw, this place is enormous, but it's wide. It doesn't really get that loud. And
I think that's more LA fan related.
It might be, but I think when you look at Atlanta and Minnesota, the stands are much more upright. So even if you're in the second, third, fourth deck, you're still almost overlooking the field, as opposed to here, the further up you get, the further away you are.
I think
from
the
field.
first two levels are close.
Right.
But yeah,
It's
the
as
uppers
you start getting upper and upper.
This place is sick though.
The
You don't seem to
suites are
love it like
beautiful.
I do. I loved it.
I think it's beautiful. I think it's very visually appealing. But I think that for me, I want a stadium where the home crowd can really impact the game. And maybe it's the LA fans, but I think it's a little bit the way this place is built that it doesn't get that loud even at the big moments. And so
It was loud for Luke. It was loud after the sacks.
It was loud.
The Washington crowd was loud,
but it wasn't like It wasn't like game changing loud. It wasn't like Penn State when they get Michigan to call a timeout.
Penn State can't even beat UCLA, dude.
I know, that was impressive. Maryland football, not so
I
impressive.
kind of wish our Terps could have held on.
Yeah,
all right,
that
let's
would've
get out
been
of here. We're randomly talking about college football.
That's what happens.
Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Mitch Tischler, JP Finlay, you made it this far. Greg owes you a beer.